You're listening to Views from the Bridge, your second favorite podcast about your favorite team, the Philadelphia Union. Welcome, everybody, into Views from the Bridge, your second favorite podcast about a team that plays in Major League Soccer in 2026. No. A team that exists on the field in Major League Soccer in 2026. I'm not sure if they're playing yet. But before we get to that, Chuck, Evan, how are we tonight? Soccer aside.
Well, I'm thinking of at least a Union alum that's doing much better than the current Union and that we do miss very much, and David Vasquez, hence the non-existent San Diego team hat that I'm wearing today.
Hey, there you go.
Sure. Shout out to Danny Cruz. Weird that he's not getting a head coaching job. That's all I got. I don't know. Justin, is it nice that the Riverhounds are playing soccer?
But they decided not to play tonight. Who knows?
I did actually. I
It's
did say
cold
that.
in
You're
Pittsburgh.
Right. It's easy to forget about the Open Cup since basically no one's in it, but the Riverhounds just decided that they didn't feel like playing.
So, talking about didn't feel like playing, let's talk about the Philadelphia Union for a second. The non-soccer news, or the thing that's happening on the field right now news, Ernst Tanner gets a suspension until June 1st of 2026, as many of the allegations that have been levied against him have been proven, and Major League Soccer decided to suspend him until June 1st. And June 2nd, he's eligible to come back, provided he does some classes of some sort to regain his status as being eligible to participate in this league. And in all accounts, he has all plans to come back to the Philadelphia Union in the job, which is currently not being held by anybody.
And at least as far as we are aware, the Union also have no plans to discipline him further than this.
Yeah.
It's like, so even if like a quarter of the allegations were proven true, he, like any of us would if this happened to us, should lose his job. Like, and at a minimum, considering, not only does this look bad on the Union, but it looks pretty bad on MLS that they closed the investigation the first time because they didn't have enough evidence. Then they were forced to reopen it because the Guardian gave up evidence that somehow MLS didn't have. And then even now reports are basically MLS is blocked by NDAs. So they have no reasonable proof that Tanner didn't do anything. They're just afraid to bring the hammer down on an executive.
Yeah. Justin, I wish you would have started with the soccer, not because I don't think this is important to lead with, but I think that I would have liked to have set this up this way, but I'll do it. This works out fine. So, all the things that are alleged about Ernst Tanner are horrible. The fact that any of them are true, to Chuck's point, means that he should be suspended without pay indefinitely, which I think most people would call being fired.
And also, just one aside really quickly, just because we should address what he is being accused of.
No, it's important in case anyone's been living under a rock.
It's because it's not one, or two, but three different things
all of them?
Racist, sexist, and homophobic behavior.
Woo! Which is just wonderful. Yeah, so he's been accused of all three of these things. I'm being sarcastic. I shouldn't do that, which is terrible. Obviously, to both y'all's points earlier, if any of us did this, I think in 2026, which I'm not going to get on the soapbox about how we apparently live in a post, ramification society, but we would be fired pretty quickly without cause, and there would be no please take a course to come back. Thanks. What I will say related to the soccer side of things, and maybe to kind of try to relate it to like day to day, your 9 to 5 job side of things, it would be really weird if at your job, your boss or the guy that signed your paychecks or the person that hired you disappeared for a period of time to the point where their job didn't exist anymore. Later, there was an internal thing that came out that went, hey, all the rumors about this person are true, and you're still doing your job, and like that person's kind of maybe probably going to come back. Just because I would feel like I have absolutely no idea who I'm doing any of this for. I know I don't have support from this person, given that he's been homophobic and misogynistic and racist. And I think part of the reason that the team's played so badly this season is this whole thing.
Yeah, if you're John Shear, do you basically ask for a raise or leave?
Yeah.
Because I mean that's who
Not
the
as a bit
interim
either.
sporting
I think
director
actually,
is, and
yeah.
it's because quite literally, and unfortunately, the performance of union alums shows this. He's already been one of the most important people to the success of the union by his actual official job of being the director of the academy. And then now needing to step into Ernst Tanner's role, probably expecting that that was going to end up being his role, because any reasonable person after Tanner was placed on leave would expect you're not coming back.
Because
And
you probably
here
know all
we
those
are.
things are true, by the way.
And it's like, and to not even be like, okay, like I wouldn't have agreed with it, but I would have understood if MLS was like, okay, we're suspending him for an entire season, and then union, it's up to you on what you want to do next. But just saying, we're suspending you until the
3 months?
literal opening of a transfer window. We're not even going to suspend you until the roster freeze. Like, you can just come right back in the summer and like do whatever you want.
Yeah, it's a problem for sure. And I think, my thing is like, yeah, going back to your point, Evan, like there at any of our jobs, if this was the case of the way that which we were behaving, there would be ramifications for the reality of whether we continue to work there or not. And it's like it seems to be like there's kind of this magic window that once you make a certain amount of money or something or have a certain title, that like you can basically just do whatever you want and you still have a job, which is like pretty frustrating actually.
And like, not to curtain back the whole organization, but like, I think more than most MLS teams, the bulk of our admin staff and the bulk of our actual logistics for the academy, for the first team, multiple people that do communications for the first team, several of the AT staff, like a lot of the people that actually make the club run just so happen to be women who are,
Yep.
by the way, really good at their job.
Yeah, no,
Like
there was a thing
exceptionally good at
actually.
their jobs.
Yeah,
And I shouldn't
There's a
have to
thing,
be like,
yeah.
man, I should point that out because of what happened to them probably doing their jobs. I should have just offered that to everybody anyway. But hey, if anyone out there was like, oh, wow, that's crazy. How many women are in the front office? Like, a lot of them. And they're good. So, yeah, I think the team sucks right now because there's an asshole who was in charge of it for a little bit, and now we can't just bring somebody else to do that job and get rid of this guy. Because I wouldn't want to work for him either.
Yeah, and to your point there, Evan, like even last Sunday or whatever that was, the International Women's Day happened. They posted this huge picture of like a large group of women who work for this
many
team
women.
and work for this club. Ugh, it's so frustrating.
Not great.
But hey, everything around this team's frustrating.
And just for the record, to the intern that's listening to this, so that we don't offend anybody at the club, I would apologize, but like, I'll wait till Ernst does.
No. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, this is a thing worth. And
what are they gonna do? Revoke my credential?
I don't want to. Well, I'm saying because I don't want to say this is worth like raking the club as a whole over the coals for, because this clearly isn't a decision made by everyone at the club. But it's a decision worth raking the people responsible for making the decision on Ernst working or not working for this club over the coals for. And I am someone who was like quite literally credentialed to cover this club last week.
Sure. Yep.
Yes. Yeah. No, and I think, I mean, that's part of the I guess that's part of the element of sports, right? That yes, it is entertainment for us as fans. Like we should look at this as like, hey, this is entertainment. But ultimately, if you're going to be a fan of a club and you're going to invest in that club, and I think that doesn't just mean being an owner or being high up in a C-suite or something. If you're going to invest in a club by buying tickets, by buying season tickets, by getting, by being credentialed and going to games and putting articles and content out on the internet, it's buying merch, it's doing all that stuff that you're going to be invested in the club. Like you do have some level of accountability. Like the club does have some level of accountability. You can pretend like they don't, but the reality is that they're like, we as fans have choices. And if we decide like, hey, I don't want to support this club anymore because they're supporting this racist, homophobic, sexist individual who is going to continue to work for the club, then the club's going to feel the consequences of that. So it's like they do have some accountability to the fans who invest. Not every fan, but the fans who invest in the club, they have some accountability to that. So anyway, I feel like it's our job to talk about it. But
definitely.
Like you
and
mentioned,
I mean,
go ahead.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, it's just like, it's still one of those things where just like, I don't particularly believe that like athletes should be your role models, but that doesn't mean that people shouldn't be held accountable for things like this that we would be held accountable for.
Yes, exactly. Like you said, though, everything around this club is frustrating. I just looked. The Union have now lost 7 out of, or 5. Sorry, let me get this right. They have lost 6 out of their last 8 competitive games, going back to last year's playoff game against NYCFC. They've lost 6 of the last 8. The only team they've beaten is Defense Force twice by a score line of 12-0. And everybody else they've lost to. But the games that we got to talk about, we've got a 1-0 game against San Jose. We've got a 1-0 game against Club America. And we've got a 3-1 game against Atlanta.
America's at least an outlier. I almost want to like I almost want to like mash MLS together and then talk about America separately, because apparently this team is only playing in CONCACAF Champions Cup right now, which I like sort of understand because like that does
Oh,
matter more, but like they've just forgotten how to play in MLS,
yeah,
even if they're
yeah.
playing against a bad team. And like San Jose may be better than we thought they were. Atlanta's not. That that was awful. That team is awful, and the Union were awful.
Yep.
There's not a whole like literally the only positives that I came up with over the last couple games for the team are like losing 1-0 to America is like kind of impressive, even though that was your home leg. So like, good luck with that. And then it was nice to see Anello get on the score sheet. I guess, but also like that game was, to your point, Chuck, like brutal. And I think really March as a whole, well, February, March as a whole, and at least all of your MLS games at this point, not great. And I'm not a big, let's have a lot of hot takes about getting rid of the team or coaches, or why didn't we bring in this player or this player? Also, with the added context of our sporting director being like actively the worst person this club's ever employed, which is crazy because like Peter Nowak or whatever. But uh, yeah, not good. Like not even remotely good. And I guess the takeaway is, hey, Anello scored. Hey, you only lost 1-0 to Club America at a brackets home game. Um, and it's March, like it's not July, and we're having this conversation. And I'm just kind of hoping that like it's a weird like late signings and shifting of priorities thing, and not like this team's just going to be stuck to the bottom of this table for the whole year, because that would be unkind to have to watch.
Unkind. I like that. That would be
I would
unkind for
not.
this team to do
They
to us.
wouldn't be doing me a favor by making me watch this after we all thought it was going to be last year, where we were garbage.
Yeah, the like the getting ahead of yourself with beating the rebuild a season early
Yeah.
really is coming back to bite everything.
Yeah, I I have not gotten to watch this team too much over the past couple of weeks, but I
Consider
think
yourself lucky.
yeah,
Yeah, I
exactly.
mean,
Um the San Jose game was a not pretty game of soccer, period. Like neither team was especially good in that game. I think just looking at stats wise, I think, the XG for San Jose was 1.18, ours was 0.88. And it's like that's not that big of a difference ultimately. It's 30 points, 30 percentage points or whatever decimal points um away from each other. And so it's like it wasn't, and it could have easily been 1-1. It could have easily been 2-1. It like there wasn't that many. But what frustrated me about it was just Philly didn't look dangerous really at any point in that game. It was like, do we think this team's actually going to score? Probably not. Like, and like last year, it was like at any point in any game, you're like, oh, the Union could score two in like 2 minutes and be back in front. And it just definitely did not feel like that during San Jose.
Yeah, I just don't even know where to start because like you understand with the changes that there were going to be some growing pains to this season, but I didn't expect that the midfield who played together for an entire season would look like they've never played together. And while I know that Jacob Glesnes was the leader of this defense and responsible for keeping everything in line, I didn't expect a Makanya regression from what we saw last season. And those things all together, when you're putting in new defenders at two spots next to him, and Frankie Westfield is still only 19 or now?
Yeah, I don't think he's 20 yet.
But basically, a baby. Nathan Harriel is not a center back, and we really need to end that Nathan Harriel at center back in a back four situation.
No, two's good. Say two.
It doesn't work. Well, I mean,
it's
I guess
yes,
because when you're playing the fullbacks that the Union play, it's not a back four. You are right; it is a back two.
You were going to say it first. You're right. It's not 4. It's 2. It should be 4. If it was 4, we probably wouldn't have lost 3-1 to Atlanta. But it's a back 2.
Yeah, and to that point, I mean, it at any point last season, it was like, who are the best central midfielders in the league? And two of the names that would easily come up are Jean-Jacques and Lukic. And it looks like they haven't quite found their groove yet. And then when you throw in, I don't think we played the same left back in 2 straight games yet.
No, we did finally do that in America and Atlanta, but that was the first time.
2 games we played the same guy in that position twice. Like, that makes Makanya's job pretty hard. Even the couple times he's shifted out to left back, it's like, it's not, you're going to see aggression when you're like, I don't know who's playing to my left. And I might even have to shift out there.
Yeah, and that's why, I don't want to be too hard on Makanya, because we've seen the highs of what he can do. It's just when you expected a step forward and are trying to figure out who the leader of this actual defense is, and the answer is no one, that's where it gets pretty concerning. Because, I mean, honestly, if Bedoya is not on the field, I don't know who the leader of this team in general is. And Andre Blake's gonna do what he does to try and get people in line, but that's never been his role to take over everything. And Glez at least did that. And even Kai in attacking scenarios kind of did that. And now it's who?
Yeah. Well, and to your point, the thing that I was thinking about with Kai that we really lost too is Kai was always the first guy in the referee's face when things were not going our way with fouls. And it was always like, come on, you got to start getting these calls right, and Kai was always the first guy he would take the yellow card for dissent because, it was like, somebody's got to get in the referee's face and tell him he's doing a bad job. And there's been a lot of games this season already where the refereeing has, in a lot of ways, gone against us for the whole game. And you don't see the person who's like, come on, you got to start calling this game fair.
Yeah, no, it's a good point.
We don't do that in MLS anymore.
Right. No one does that. No, it's the same thing with any of these team sports that involve the really famous example is the Florida Panthers in the NHL did it with Roberto Luongo, where he was their captain because he was the cornerstone of the franchise and he was the longest tenured guy there. The problem with that, and the reason why no one's done it since, even though there's been teams that you could do that to, and why it doesn't really make a ton of sense when it's Dre. You're stuck in the goal, brother. You can't go and pass on notes from the coach to your players in midfield or up top, or you can't get in the referee's face all the time because you have to be within the box basically to do your job. And so then you look at it and you go, all right, well, who's the leader of the team? It's Alejandro Bedoya. He can't go 90 minutes. He hasn't been able to go 90 minutes really in since we've said that like 5 years ago. He's proved us wrong occasionally, but that's really not where he's meant to be. So then you look at it and you go, all right, well, logic dictates it's either probably Indiana Vasilev or like Jovan Lukic, but they're not like Philly guys, which feels like a cop out. But if we're going off of that, it's either Quinn Sullivan, who's still out.
Well, Indiana Vasilov shouldn't be on the field as much as he is on the field. Like, it's not that he's not a Philly guy. It's just he shouldn't be out there for 90 minutes at all.
Well, all right. There's another problem.
Like, and yeah, I mean, you would like for it to be Lukic, but
really,
I mean, you probably are right that when he's back from injury, it is Quinn Sullivan.
Because the guys that care the most about the team are the homegrowns. And the guy right now that cares the most about the team that's a homegrown that plays is Frankie Westfield. And I love him dearly, but that's not his, cross to bear as a 19-year-old child.
Yeah, whereas, like, despite Quinn Sullivan only being, like, 22, he is a veteran of this team.
Yeah, and he's been around, and he can play with that fire, and he can make an impact right away.
But to that point, like, I agree with you. I think Quinn is the guy that makes the most sense. But to me, it's like, I think about the way that Jack Elliott played. I think about the way that Glesnes played. I think about the way that Kai played. I think the way that Jose Martinez played. I think about the way that I think about the way that some of these guys played, and like these guys played angry, like, and it was like, if you're gonna foul me, if you're gonna get in my face, if you're gonna do the things, I'll shove you right back, and I will make the hard tackle, and I will push you out of bounds, and I will do all the things, and then I will get in the referee's face about it when he starts making bad calls. And I'm sorry, but I don't see any of the guys on this field doing that.
Well, Justin, when you're mostly a team full of children, or people that are like 23 and under, they're not really going to do that yet because they can't really get away with it. That's part of why Seba played that way a little bit. Here's a guy who I slagged off on for years, but he had a purpose. Connor Casey did that a lot. But also at that point, he'd scored a goal in the MLS Cup final on his ass, so he could do whatever the hell he wanted. Yeah, we don't have anyone that really plays angry anymore. Oh, yeah, that's fair.
And I still need the clip from him after getting hit, when he was just like pleading with the referee, going full Italian with the talking with his hands on the ground. I need to go back on Apple TV at some point and actually get that. But
Bruno would be a lot more effective in that role if he finishes more.
Do it. Well,
yeah, if he's just not as well.
But
sure.
I mean, that is the like weird balance, is that you have to be good at your job to get that across with the referee.
It's a lot more intimidating if you talk all your shit and then finish.
Yeah. And that's what I even go back to the first game of the season. Ty like scores the goal and then celebrates it. And that's just the passion that he lives with and the passion that he plays with. And it's like, I don't I don't see that on the team right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, I wanted to punch Ty in the face when he did that. But like when that guy is on your team, that's a good thing. Like
Yeah, you love that.
opposing players and fans should want to punch you in the face. Like being a Tottenham fan, unfortunately right now,
Yep,
I
sorry.
was a huge Eric Lamela fan. He played with the
Mm.
sharpest elbows in the league and everyone else hated him.
Oh,
You need that on your team.
yeah.
Yes, you do. You do. It's true. And that's what I think. That's what turns the season around. It is like you've got to figure out the killer instinct. It's like, okay, we got to go get a win. We got to figure it out. You know.
And like
I don't know. I don't know how this team figures it out, but they have to.
to the point you made, when we started this, Justin, it's like the numbers aren't as bad as the score lines make them out to be. Besides Atlanta, there is expected goals happening for this team. The goal part just isn't showing up. And so I think where we can learn from St. Louis a little bit here is just to kind of have a lot of patience. And I guess Carnell is kind of protected a little bit in the fact that there's not anyone. Well, I guess unless Jay Sugarman wants to make a fucking decision and fire him, but like I don't know. Yeah, I don't think we're like panicking yet. I just think it's like, no, I'm down
But
for your rebuttal,
should you
please.
be when no? Well, I was going to say, should you be when Wilfred Nancy is on the market?
Oh God. Let's get to like
I don't know if
July
he would
before
want to
we go
come.
that.
I don't know if he would want to necessarily come back to MLS, especially when the Columbus
Yeah.
job may also reopen.
Yeah. What
But
about your
like
man from Minnesota that was
there,
at West Brom for like 5 minutes? What's he doing?
but I don't think Eric Ramsey's like actually that good of a coach. He just had a really good team at Minnesota, and half of it's now like in Miami, Europe, and now
Oh yeah.
Chicago.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Like
I mean,
that team
to your,
just took a step back.
I mean, just to put a point to your thought there
To
a
my
second
point.
ago.
Yeah. Thank you.
MLS play, or the couple games that we played in MLS, the Union's expected goals for the season to this point is 6, and we have a grand total of 2.
Yeah, and 6 would have at least gotten us points from all of our games this year if we distribute them evenly. Like that would have been fine.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. And then like in the 3 CONCACAF Champions Cup games, our expected goals were 7.9, and we have 12. So it's like there's goals there. It's not like the goals aren't there or the chances aren't there. It's just the finishing at this point is not there.
Yeah, which with what we've seen from these forwards, is that surprising? I still don't understand why against Atlanta, why Iloski was the guy taking that penalty when I thought that it was just like a blanket Damiani's own pens, and he's actually
Yeah.
been pretty good at them throughout his entire career. So I do wonder, since like it did seem like after the challenge he was potentially dazed a little bit, if it was just because of that or something. But once that pen went off the bar, it was just like, oh, we're done here. Like there's no actual coming back in this match.
No.
And a lot of, despite the XG, a lot of those shots from close distance have just looked bad.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I just don't know what you do about that. Like even Anella's goal that went in looked bad.
Not great.
Yeah.
Pretty bad.
They're not stinging keepers' hands and like Keepers aren't making great saves. It's just not good.
It would also help if anyone decided they wanted to try to pick a corner or something. Just simple finishing rules.
Well, we have 2 games coming up in the next 4 days. We have the return leg, the away leg against Club America. And then we play Chicago on the weekend. And guys, if we don't beat Chicago.
Well, do I have something for you? Because we started this discussion last podcast on when will the Union pick up their first points.
Oh yeah, sure.
I was basically like, if it's not Atlanta, it's gonna be for a while, because I don't think that going away to Chicago that they're actually gonna do it, especially after Chicago's gonna be very desperate, considering their own personal travesty against DC United this past weekend.
Thank you, Ty Bariba.
The gift that keeps on giving, and we're not using the money well enough.
Or at all, actually.
What is the goal? I realize the goal is actually winning, but what is the goal against America? Is it just don't lose big? Is it like
I would be cool
figure
if it
out
was
another
another
1-0 scoreline?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's interesting because America at home was the best game that the Union had played all season. I mean, low bar, but they should have gone down big in the first half and then were able to fight back, and honestly should have been going into this game probably level 1-1 if they could actually finish. So you would like to think that they will be competitive in Mexico, especially since it's not like this America team's been doing what teams of the past used to do and just
this is not like
off of
prime
teams.
Club America. Yeah.
But I mean, I think the goal is still don't lose big, just because we've seen what going into Mexico can do to MLS teams and very good MLS teams. And again, right now, LAFC is currently in Costa Rica as we record, about to head into halftime, losing. It's big when you go away to these teams. But I would like to think that they can go there and not lose by more than 2 goals. But I'm also concerned that they go there and concede 5.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying there. Do we want to make predictions on either of these games coming up, or do we just want to let it be and see what happens?
No, why would I do that? That would make me look bad.
I mean, we're just going to lose. Both of them.
So it's just it's a loss. They're both losses, I'm morbidly curious about America, but yeah, I'm not feeling great about either of these. Goals. How about we score goals?
Nope.
What if we score goals? That's what I want to see.
Goals.
I want to see incremental improvement in putting the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, because at this point, you are putting too much pressure on the defense by not scoring. And I don't just want to see goals. I would like to see a goal in the first 30 minutes of play, so that people can play with some
I thought you were going to say an attractive,
yeah.
an aesthetically pleasing soccer move leading to a goal, and I went, let's not try to get the whole house built here, Chuck.
No. This is still MLS.
You'll take a own goal off of a corner for us or something.
Hell no, I would take the reincarnation of Shannon Williams and we do a long throw and the entire crowd says boom and we score.
There you go.
Chuck, do you just want to hear do you just want to hear the whole crowd do a thing? Is that what you're like? You just want some atmosphere?
Honestly, that would be great, because the only time that I've heard the entire crowd do a thing was America Feds.
Yeah.
You could lower that bar to just hear the crowd. Like, and like, doesn't matter what they do, just hear the crowd.
I mean, there's a couple things we'd rather them not do, but within the last year, historically speaking,
sure.
It looks like those things don't matter. So maybe anything.
Yes, you're right. There's a couple things I'd rather them not do. All right. Well, that's what we think. Let us know what you think. For some reason, you can still find us at VFTV Pod all over the internet. And the season will continue,
summarized to this
regardless
point,
of whether we like it.
There's a couple things I wish we wouldn't do.
Anyway, let us know what you think. You can find us at VFTV Pod all over the internet. We'll talk to you again after Chicago. And hopefully we're talking about something good at that point in time.